state of the nation.
We all know the story. Somebody sees a black business thriving. They don't go, wow, how did that guy do it? I want to know their story. No, they say this, ha, agaromba uyo. Akachekeresa. If it's a woman, she must be someone's small house. How can a woman be doing so well all on her own? Others will look at a black guy doing well and say, nah, he's a front for a white man. He's not his own man. Another person will drop in with, no, I heard he's a front for a political chef. For a lot of us, it's not possible for a black person to make it in business through their own hard work, especially in our politically charged environment. We never stop to ask them to tell us their stories, do we? No, we already know. We've already drawn our own conclusions. We will not allow any hard facts or horror of horrors actually get in the way of what we think we know. It says a lot about how we see ourselves, doesn't it? A white business person teaching their child the ropes is passing on generational wealth, but a black person does the same? That's nepotism. But what do we need to do to change this narrative? What can we do to see black businesses differently? First, it's time we start telling the stories of black success in that realm. We're not telling these stories enough. We are leaving too much to rumors, allegations, and speculation. Second, we like to glorify the past. We see people talking about the businesses we used to have in the 80s and the 90s. We don't talk as loudly about the black businesses that were not there then, but are here now, how they have occupied that space. But back then, business people like the Machokotos, Chimbis, Makombas, and the Matambanazo bus services of this world showed that the potential to grow big businesses existed even then. Today, however, where we used to have Mashfords, we now have Nyaradzo. Where our biggest investors were foreign and white, our biggest company is now black-owned, Econet. Where our cleaning products used to be dominated by multinationals like Unilever, we now have locals like Spotless in that space. Where we had the likes of Union Carbide and Anglo-American, we now have Kuvimba. Where construction was once dominated by large white-owned companies, we now have Fossil Contracting and Better Bricks. Where the most famous architects and contractors were white-owned, we now have young companies like TDW, Turnberry, and Longdon Steel. Fuel was only about BP in total. Now we have Secunda and Zuba. Once, irrigation equipment was all about major white-owned or foreign companies. Today, Maka Irrigation is assembling center pivots here in Zimbabwe. When we talked about paint back then, we meant only Dulux. Now we also have Nash Paints. Where Jungle Oats used to be dominated, Glide Time is taking over. Security, we only had Fawcett. Now we have the black woman-owned Securico. We even own the majority of our financial service providers, including banks. This is how the economic landscape has transformed over the past 20 years. Other small startups like Yanaya are growing because of local support. Soon, we hope to see them move into the region. It's not always smooth. In fact, the economic problems we have faced as a people over the last 2 decades have been really rough. Many foreign companies left. The upside is that many companies also arose, local companies at that. This is something we want to see our government talking about more. The government talks about becoming an upper middle income country by 2030. There is too much focus on foreign direct investment to achieve this. Yes, we want FDI. We welcome and appreciate it. But do you know what would work even better to complement this? It is local black-led investment. It is growing our small local black-owned businesses. This is how countries such as India and even China have grown. They gave their local companies a chance. Tata has grown to become the leader in the automotive industry, taking over other car manufacturers like Land Rover and Jaguar. The Chinese are also not stopping. FDI is great, but when things go bad, they can pack their bags and head for the airport overnight. Locals, not so much. Look at Russia. When the war with Ukraine started, McDonald's pulled out of Russia. A Russian guy was running some of the outlets. He decided to take over the outlets himself and rebranded them to a new Russian brand. Right here in Zimbabwe, Joiner Center, one of Harare's tallest buildings, complete with a shopping mall, was built by a black Zimbabwean. This is why investing in our own people and supporting them in the first place should be the priority. We have already shown that this is possible. Masawara Holdings, a local company, has been investing in building businesses with great success for over a decade now. We could have taken a foreign loan to pay a foreign company $1 billion to build the Beitbridge Chirundu Highway. Instead, the government floated a tender and picked 5 local companies to do the job. This may not always be a perfect arrangement, but this is how companies grow, by being given the chance and the support to grow. That is the role of the government. Black excellence in business is real. As Zimbabweans, we have now a proven track record of this, but we can do even more. So, what about us? What is your role and mine? Number 1. The best way to support good black businesses is with your dollar. Businesses need customers to grow. If you can buy your vegetables from a local vendor and not a multinational supermarket, do it. Some products have this logo. By buying local, we support our own. If your friend is in business, here is how you can support them. Pay for their goods and services. Share their post. Retweet their adverts. Yes, we know. Your friend owns that restaurant, but don't be like, oh, let me take you to my friend's place where we can eat and drink for free. Let's learn to pay our friends and family. Number 2, if you get good service from a small black business, spread the word. Let people know. Number 3, if you're in a position of influence, provide mentorship. There are so many young entrepreneurs who have big ideas but don't know how to navigate legal and policy issues. Help them if you can. It is time to stop thinking an investor is just a foreign white male in a blue suit who arrives at RGM International in a private jet. An investor can and is one of us. It is us. Instead of dismissing those that are making it, let's hear their stories first. Instead of undermining black businesses with lies and rumors, let's form networks that support the growth of black firms. Let's encourage ourselves as black business to be professional, value add, providing the best possible quality services, proper branding and marketing, better customer service and execution. That's the only kuromba and kuchekeresa that actually works. Like, share, comment, and subscribe.